Good morning, thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's well today. It feels like the longest time since I have filmed in this little corner of my house. I think it must be last winter before the builders were here, because we've been using this room as a front door for months on end. So yeah, I think it is a very long time, possibly almost a year. Anyway, it's a nice place to film in the winter because I've got a lot of light behind the camera, which means that I don't need to use ring lights and stuff, which is always nice. I don't know about you, but truth bomb here. I have not been feeling the best recently. I have not been either physically or mentally feeling up to par, let's say. And I think some of that can be down to the shorter days and the winter oncoming and the weather not being as nice and all of that sort of thing. But I think a lot of it is down to the state of the world, to be perfectly honest. I have felt like my get up and go has got up and gone. And that's not like me at all. I am a very motivated and generally quite positive person, certainly not always with personal stuff, but I think certainly in terms of work, I've always had that zest and motivation and positivity, and I felt it lacking throughout my life at the moment, and I feel like that is a lot of it is just down to the state of the world. And I feel like if I feel like this, I'm guessing that there's a lot of us feeling like this. In fact, you only have to listen to people being interviewed on the telly or read through a social media feed to know that we are all feeling unsettled and trepidatious and scared and worried, and you know, I could list all the hideous things going on in the world that we're all worrying about all the time, but there would be no point really, as we all know. Anyway, I made a video a little bit like this, I think around the time of the first lockdown, and it was my plan for getting through difficult times. And this is sort of a similar thing. I haven't gone back and watched that video. Sorry, I'm just knocking the table. I haven't gone back and watched this video before making this one. So a lot of the things I say in it may be very similar. I've had a lot of new viewers since then, so you probably didn't see that video anyway. So I won't apologise for repeating the same content, because I think it's as valid now, if not more so, as it was then. But I have made a 10-point plan for positivity, I have called it, and I thought I would just share it. Now, number one, which is a big one for me, is to limit my media consumption. When I say media, I mean TV news, radio news, Facebook, Instagram less so because there's less of it on there. But yeah, general consumption of current affairs. The 24-hour news cycle means that so much of what is on a news programme is speculation, opinion, scaremongering, in my opinion. I see what I did there. And it's not necessarily good for us to be listening to that. I have limited my news consumption. I've been very aware of limiting my news consumption since the beginning of COVID. I used to watch those daily briefings at 5 p.m. that the then Prime Minister did, and that was really it. I didn't want to know all the rest of it. I found it very unsettling. I found it scaremongering. I found it didn't do me any good. And now it feels the same again. It feels like it's a big weight on top of me. So I have absolutely limited my television. In fact, I've completely stopped watching television news again. And I've even gone so far as to say to Ashley, who is an absolute news junkie, it doesn't affect him in the same way it affects me, that if he is going to put the news on, the television, can he tell me so I can leave the room? because, you know, he'll put the news on, and I would just get sucked into it and hear it by osmosis, whether I'm in the room or out of the room, and I can hear it, you know. So I just want to be able to go and tuck myself away in my bedroom with the door shut, with a good book or something like that, or a YouTube video about something else entirely while the news is on. And he has agreed to do that, and that is working well so far, and I am removing myself from so much of that stuff just being heaped upon me. I think that's a really good place to start if you're feeling low. Number 2 is, and again, it's a really simple thing, but get outside. Get outside for a walk, or if it's raining, go and stand on your doorstep and breathe in some fresh air. Throw the window open, get some fresh air circulating. You don't have to do it for hours. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a brisk walk outside for 20 minutes will fill me with much more serenity than 20 minutes in front of the TV watching stuff. I feel like just getting outside, and this time of year it's not so easy as it is in the summer, is it? So we have to make more of an effort, but it really is so beneficial. It really does help me sort of stop my mind whirring. That constant babble in the back of your mind, I think, does go away when you get outside. And we went for a walk along the seafront in Teignmouth on Sunday morning, and it was just lovely. It just felt very relaxing and pleasant, and when I came back home after that, I felt uplifted. So I'm really going to make more effort to get outside and be in nature a little bit more. I think it does us all the world of good. Number 3 on my list is to eat more healthily. This time I was eating low carb for a good portion of the spring and summer this year, and that is naturally better for us, isn't it? It certainly gave me more energy and more oomph, and made me feel generally physically better. And then on comes the colder weather and winter, and I just crave all those carbs, that bread, potatoes, pasta, rice, all of those things that aren't really that good for me, that don't really make me feel that great, and I've been eating them. And I'm not saying don't eat any of those things. I would not be the poster girl for telling you not to eat something, let's be honest here. But yeah, I'm just going to attempt to cut back on those things and replace them with other equally nice hearty winter fare, but a bit less on the carbs, because I think it's going to make me feel a lot better, and try and up those vegetables a little bit as well. I'm not a fruit person, I don't like fruit, to be honest. Quite a lot of it is very full of sugar anyway, isn't it? But yes, I'm definitely going to try and up the vegetables, and I'm not saying eat salad every day. Who wants to be doing that in blooming nearly November? Not me. Fewer carbs going to make me feel less lethargic. More healthy veg is going to make me feel better and do me the world of good as well. Number 4 and number 5 are sort of connected. Number 4 is self-care. We as women very often put ourselves right to the bottom of that list when it comes to self-care. We're always busy doing the things we've got to do, getting on with stuff, and we don't take time. You cannot, as they say, pour from an empty cup, and I have felt close to empty almost every day this week. And I'm not gonna lie, I spent yesterday, quite a lot of yesterday, in my bed. I spent most of yesterday in my bed. I hit a brick wall, and I wasn't feeling great mentally, I wasn't feeling great physically, and I decided to just have a day of looking after myself, listening to what I needed. And what I needed was to do quite a lot of nothing, drink quite a lot of tea, and sit and read, watch YouTube and some trashy TV, and not think about anything too much. And that has done me the world of good. I am not advocating, by the way, to sit and do this every day. That would be counterproductive, but sometimes you just need a day like that. And self-care means many different things to different people, but for me it means making myself relax, because I don't do quite enough of that, and I think I need to do a bit more of it. And as I said earlier, I need to keep reminding myself that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Number 5, as I said, linked to number 4, is not to save stuff for best. when I say this, I mean in the physical sense, not to save stuff for best, but I also mean in the sense of not saving the nice self-care days for the time that you're practically on your knees with exhaustion and mental stress. Recognise that in yourself before you hit that wall and take steps to look after yourself. It's so important that we look after ourselves, and I'm not the best at it, and I'm really trying to get better. But as well, don't save stuff for best. We don't know how long we've got on this planet, and I think we are all guilty to a lesser or greater extent of not using our favourite things or some of the things that bring us joy because we're saving them for best. Use the special china that you save for Christmas. Use it all year round. Not every day, but use it when you're feeling a bit low. Drink out of that mug that you don't save for a special occasion because you only use it when you have a visitor come round, but you really love. Spray that perfume. Spray the favourite perfume that you've been saving for a special occasion. You know, just use all the things and get the joy out of them, because that little bit of joy is what we all need. Now, talking of perfume, that brings me, see what I did there, to today's sponsor, who is DIALECT Fragrances. DIALECT Fragrances are a new startup company, and they create what I would call dupe perfumes, and they would call perfumes inspired by other well-known perfumes. We are all aware of the cost of living crisis, aren't we? And Christmas is coming up, and perfume is one of the things that I've noticed has really got more expensive. So if you were able to get a perfume that smelled just like your favourite perfume but was considerably less expensive, that would be a nice thing, wouldn't it? So the first one I've got to show you is this one here. They come in beautiful bottles. They're all made in France, their perfumes. They're shipped from France. And this is their Spicy Vanilla Obsession. It's a really nice size. You get 50 ml, and this one is inspired by Black Opium. Now, I know Black Opium. I've had it before, and this is a very good inspirational dupe. Inspired by or a dupe. I want to call it a dupe because that's what I like calling these fragrances. But that is so lovely. And I have tested these out, both of them, and the last on them is pretty good as well. Both the ones I've got, the last on them is pretty good. I am quite impressed by it. I found that I had to reapply I put it on in the morning, I had to reapply at lunchtime, and then by about 5 I couldn't smell it anymore. So that's not bad for me. Quite often I'll put a perfume on and within an hour I can't smell it anymore. But both of these, the last is pretty good. They've got loads of different inspired by fragrances. They've got the Tom Ford Neroli Portofino, which I really want to try because that is a gorgeous perfume and very, very expensive. So I definitely want to try their version of that. And they've got a Dior one. I think they've got the Alien. There is as well, what other one did I see this morning when I was looking? Oh, Daisy as well, that's another one, and Chloe. So a huge selection on there. I will pop a link into the description box for your info. I'll just show you this other one that I have here as well. Now this one here is Amber Infusion, it's called, and this is inspired by Baccarat. I'm going to go for Baccarat. Baccarat Rouge at 540, which is jasmine, saffron and amber woods. Prices are very reasonable compared with the originals. Well worth a look. And they've got some offers on their website as well. I saw a 25% discount code recently. So do go over and check them out if you're in the market for any perfume, either for yourself or for a gift. So thanks again to DIALECT for sponsoring this part of the video. Moving on with my plan for positivity, number 6 is gratitude, and it's an old one, isn't it? Gratitude. Everybody goes, oh yeah, do gratitude, write down 3 things you like, you know, you appreciate every day and all that. But it really does work. When you start thinking about what you're grateful for, you will see those things more and you will notice other things you're grateful for. It just changes your mindset. It uplifts you a little bit. I talked about a recent can't speak, favourites video about how grateful I was for Ashley and for all the little things he does around the house and the jobs that he can do and how he can turn his hand to anything. And since I talked about that, I have noticed it even more than I did before, and I think that is where gratitude really helps us focus on the positive rather than all the negative that's surrounding us at the moment. Number 7 and 8, again, are sort of linked. Number 7 is to keep busy. I was talking to Carla about this on Monday when I met up with her, and we both agreed that keeping busy when you're feeling low is the last thing you want to do. You have those days when you wake up and you just want to pull the duvet back over your head and not be in the world and all of that stuff, and just, if you can just make yourself get up and get on with stuff and keep moving forward. Baby steps are fine, but just get up and get on with stuff. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself occupied, keep your mind as occupied as you can, and that does help lift the gloom for me. And it just helps move you forward and keep going. I guess it's that old saying, isn't it? Keep calm and carry on. Number 8, as I said, is linked sort of to number 7, and that is to get stuff done. I love a list. Nobody hearing this will be surprised that I love a list. And I get a sense of satisfaction and achievement from having a list and crossing things off it as I do them. And that sounds so simplistic and so ridiculous, but it's actually true. I haven't made myself a list for over a week. That in itself shows how low my mood has been. And today I got up and I made myself a list, and I thought, I'm going to do these things today. I am going to do these things today. And so there was only 6 things on my list, but so far I've crossed off 3 of them. When I finish filming this video, I will have crossed off 4 of them. And I feel achievey. I like a list. Maybe a list doesn't work for you. I mean, you don't have to have a pen and paper list. You can have it on your phone. You can have whatever works for you. I like a pen and a highlighter. But and they don't even have to be big things. If your things are get out of bed, make bed, put on a load of laundry, that is fine. If that's all you achieve, if that's what you want to do, that is absolutely fine. They don't have to be like sort out world poverty and, you know, become the new Prime Minister and sort out the UK. They don't have to be those things. Sometimes making your bed and doing the washing up is as good as it gets, and that's okay as well. I'm not suggesting that you make yourself a lengthy list of stuff to do and then feel depressed because you haven't managed to do it. Do what you can. Number 9 is one that I don't know if this is one that will work for everybody, but it definitely works for me, and I know that it definitely works for my sister-in-law because we've talked about this before. And I remember her telling me once years ago, whenever there's a crisis, whenever a crisis happens or something really bad happens, whether it's in the family or wider or whatever, first thing she does is clean and tidy the house, because if you've got a clean house, then you can start dealing with the thing. And I know exactly what she means. I too have that sense of more control when my house is clean and organised, and keeping it that way is not always easy, even less so since a certain someone's moved back home. Bless him, he's pretty good really. Yeah, but having a clean and organised environment around me really helps me feel more in control, which I guess is the feeling that we're all looking for, isn't it? Final item, number 10 on my plan for positivity, is to have a new hobby, to get a new hobby. That sounds a little bit trite, but we are all going to be probably at home a bit more. We're not going to be outside as much with the winter time coming. Perhaps you want to go to a flower arranging class. Perhaps you'd really like to learn how to do calligraphy. Perhaps you'd like to learn how to crochet. Perhaps you'd like to do lots of jigsaws this winter. I don't know. Just find something to occupy your mind that is maybe creative, if that's your vibe, or learn something new. There's such a world of possibility out there, and having again something to focus on that you enjoy or you're learning or something like that just keeps our minds busy and occupied and makes us feel like we're achieving something. That is it. That is the end of my plan for positivity. I am going to try and implement all of these things in my life. I'm doing some of them already, but I'm going to try and implement them all over the coming months. I can't imagine things in the world around us are going to get much easier than they are at the moment over the next few months. So I hope this was useful, or perhaps gave you some ideas, or I don't know, something like that. A quick reminder before I go that the Dialect Fragrances information is down there in the description box. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.